I've been collecting retro video games for well over 5 years now, and in that time, I've amassed a pretty decent collection of well over 2,000 games. But now, because of a change in work, I'm no longer spending half of my week here. I'm spending it here at Gameroom 2, doing the whole thing over again, starting with just $25 and flipping and reselling our way to a killer collection just like we did it the first time. Welcome to Gameroom 2. This is episode 4. Let's get into it with a recap of where we left things off last week. We've got a pretty solid collection going, considering this whole thing started with just $25 way back 4 weeks ago. I'm pretty stoked at where we're sitting right now. We've got a little bit of money left in the bank for our gaming resale fund, but it's time to go over a couple of sales. We doubled our investment on that GT Racer snow sled that we bought for $30 last week. That sold pretty quickly for $60, bringing our totals to this for the Game Room Fund after that sale. And that Wii nunchuck that we picked up at the thrift store, we got it tested, it worked just fine. That flipped on Facebook Marketplace for $10, but hey, not a bad little profit and another great addition to the Game Fund to keep us rolling. And another eBay sale. This one was the second one for the Game Fund. We all know how the first one went, and I'm still waiting on resolution from eBay about that whole thing, so updates to follow. But this time around, it was actually a game we picked up in the last episode. NHL Hits 03 on the GameCube, flipped on eBay for a pretty nifty little profit. I was stoked about that, and it got us up to a really good chunk of cash to start hunting with this week. I scroll through Facebook Marketplace pretty much daily, if not multiple times a day, and I'm always looking for a good deal on game stuff. On this particular day, I came across something that I've never seen before. Sweet. Hey, good, you? Right on. Thanks, dude. That's awesome.
It's right inside there, and then
Okay.
is in there too.
Cool. Appreciate it. You got my e-transfer?
What?
You got my e-transfer? Yeah, okay. Right on. Thanks, dude. Take it easy. Yeah, this one is an absolutely cool addition to anyone's game room. If you're just looking for awesome display and a cool way to commemorate a game that you are really into. You know, I did play Killzone on the PSP a lot, but I've never gotten into the series on the PS3. This particular collector's edition was released back in 2011. For the PlayStation 3, it was part of the Killzone Hellgast edition, a really cool collector's edition that includes this helmet, a figure that I've dropped the gun for, a figure that, is kind of cool. And yeah, for $30, this is absolutely going to be added to Game Room 2. Such a cool piece, and one that I'm absolutely going to be on the hunt for the game to get this thing made back complete. Pretty cool. Now it's the middle of February, and I live on the East Coast in Canada, so we're used to a little bit of snow, but
we're looking at a long duration winter storm impacting Atlantic Canada, and some regions could be seeing 50 to 80 centimeters of snowfall.
who else is gonna be going out thrifting in the snow? No one, just us. We are though. We're back at the thrift store doing exactly what we do best, buying some weird things whenever we can't find video games. I don't give up. I refuse to leave this store empty-handed because we didn't find anything video game related this time, so we're gonna pick up this Carhartt work shirt for
$6.61.
Visa, please. Hopefully we can get a good flip out of it. We're on to the next stop and we finally find some more we find some video game stuff. It's not the best stuff, but we find some stuff. This GameStop PS2 remote is one of our first finds. Admittedly, I thought it was this kind of cool PS2 Pelican brand LED light-up controller. It does work though, at least, so we'll add it to the Game Room collection and see if we can't flip it, maybe just for I don't know why I bought this one. Next up we find what is probably one of my favorite items to flip. Not because it's a computer mouse, but because of two factors. It's cheap and it's small. There's a low investment, which means if it's a slow sale, I'm not out a lot of money out of the game fund. but also it doesn't take up a lot of space, which means I don't mind storing it if it takes a little while to sell. Now this old school wired mouse for a Macintosh or Apple computer is tested and working, and we've got it listed already for 10 bucks, so a nice little $8 profit if we manage to flip that one for the game fund.
Okay.
Yeah, just after the two ones in the white cases right there. Top one and the bottom one. Yeah, cool, thanks.
There they go.
That would be great, thank you. Awesome, thank you so much. I think that's gonna be it. No, that's perfect, thank you so much. Now, usually jewel case games are far overpriced and someone in the back room at the thrift store thinks, yeah, this is absolutely worth $30 when in reality it's probably worth $5. And typically, games like this wouldn't turn my head. Now, you know, I have done well with titles like this on Facebook Marketplace before. Usually they're a little slower to sell, but for the cost of investment, we're gonna add them to Gameroom 2 collection and see if we can't flip them for a little cash later. Now this last store on this stormy game hunting adventure doesn't have a lot in the way of video games, but I refuse to leave empty-handed. We're gonna stick on this theme of buying clothing we might be able to flip to fund this Gameroom 2. And this vintage single-stitch Fruit of the Loom t-shirt, you know, they do all right on eBay. So for only $4.60, we're picking this one up. We've already got it cleaned and listed. Hopefully it'll net us a little bit of cash so we can keep on buying games. Things have slowed down a little bit midweek here in Gameroom 2. Most people are busy shoveling their driveways and scraping snow off their roofs. We've slowed a little and sales are kind of at a lull. Gameroom 2 fund is sitting at $56.17 Canadian right now. So we've still got some money, and while everyone else is digging themselves out from the snowstorm, we're back at it at the thrift store. And finally, a little something video game related. That same rack of cables and chargers where I found the Guitar Hero dongle last week nets us a Nintendo DS charger for a pretty decent price. And these usually do well for flipping. There's a lot of people out there looking for a charger, and again, small investment price, takes up a small amount of space, so even if we have to sit on it for a while, it's not a bad investment. We also pick up an old favorite alongside things like Lego, which sells super quick. Any sort of workout equipment, especially hand weights like dumbbells, do really well for resale, and they usually flip super quick. These two 5-pounders that I picked up are brand new and only $3 per weight, so at a $6 investment, I'm happy to pick these up. They should be a quick flip for Gameroom 2. And before the day's out, I'm doing one more thrift store. And at this one, we don't do too badly. I'm finally adding some half-decent video games to the Gameroom 2 collection, which at the end of the day is what this is all about. And I pick up two complete in box. The first is FIFA Street 3 on the Xbox 360. Not a bad addition to the Gameroom collection, complete in box. And yeah, you know, actually a pretty decent game on the Xbox 360 too, and holds a little bit of value on eBay. For now, we're gonna hang on to this one, but if later we need to flip it for a little extra cash, we absolutely can. I also pick up this definitive edition copy of Dishonored on the Xbox One. This is a Bethesda game, which I'm pretty stoked about, and I don't think I've ever heard of it, to be completely honest. In unbelievable condition, and for a reasonable price at the thrift store, yeah, I'm absolutely adding two new games from the thrift store to the Gameroom 2 collection. And even more video game related stuff, finally. Alright, so $9.99 for an off-brand. This one's a Power A Xbox One controller. But you know, I resold one of these recently in the original Gameroom. It sold for about $30 Canadian after it was cleaned and tested. This one comes with the original charging cable for it. It's actually a wired controller, not a wireless controller, but having this extra long micro USB controller cable is absolutely a bonus for selling these, so if we can get it working and tested back at the original game room, this one should be a really good investment for us. A couple of other quick pickups were these pair of shirts that I found, which are pretty cool ones actually. First up is this awesome Goosebumps shirt in black. This one is a pretty cool score that should sell quickly, and the other is this super cool The Power Gauntlet Nintendo themed t-shirt. This one has no tag, but should do pretty well on local Facebook Marketplace resale, even if it is just a quick flip for 10 bucks. We're going way outside of our comfort zone with this one now, because the last pickup at this thrift store for the day is this hardcover trilogy set of the Hunger Games books. They were asking $9.99 for these ones, and with a coupon, we saved a little bit of money. I think these should do pretty well on eBay. I'm seeing them go for around $30 Canadian, but worst case scenario, we should be able to double up on our investment here and at least get $20 in local resale, maybe on Facebook Marketplace. And it's time! We're gonna play the game show of How Fast Can I Sell It? It's time to go over 3 more sales that happened this week that were absolutely lightning fast sellers that whipped right out the door, things we picked up that were gone so quickly that if you didn't notice in this video, I didn't even have in my hands. First up are those dumbbells you saw me pick up for $2.99 a piece. A $6 investment on 10 pounds worth of weights were out the door in less than 24 hours on a Facebook Marketplace sale. These ones were listed and priced to sell at 10 bucks and sold lightning fast. Next up was that USB dongle you saw me pick up last week. It's a Nintendo Wii dongle used for wirelessly connecting your Rock Band guitar to your console. Fastest eBay sale I've ever had, period. Went in under 2 hours for a total profit of $41.10 for the Game Room Fund. And lastly, that Carhartt shirt we bought in this episode for $6.61 sold local Facebook Marketplace resale the very next day for $25 Canadian. Yeah, we got the game fund all the way right back to this. Thanks for sticking around and playing this episode of How Fast Can He Sell? Oh, that's so bad. It's getting a little close to the end of the week. Chris, what are you doing here?
Do you still have that Xbox controller for sale?
Yeah, man, sure. You need this?
Yeah, what do you want for it?
I don't know, like 40 bucks sound good?
Sounds good to me, man.
Sweet. Another 40 bucks for the game fund. Bringing our totals up to this. And hey, if you want to catch Chris and I hunting for video games in Copenhagen, Denmark, I'm going to link the video up here. It was a pretty sweet time, and it's absolutely worth checking out. Thanks for the sale, Chris.
No problem.
You know, that really was going to be the end of the episode. But right at the end of the week, after we made that sale for the Xbox controller to Chris, something popped up on Facebook Marketplace and I really couldn't pass.
Sweet sticker. That's awesome. I can tell you're a video game guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And my spouse likes the movies.
Okay, right on. That's
Yeah.
sweet. I love that. I've been trying to hunt down one of these helmets for a while now.
Yeah, maybe in years.
2040s.
With the recollection edition.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right
That's
on.
why they're a game case, because it was designed to hold Halo 1, 2, and 3.
So cool. It's a pretty good sized helmet. I've
This
never
is-
seen one in real life.
Yeah, they don't work for people. You can't
No.
turn them out and use them for a person. They're too small.
Makes sense.
And that's for the Halo 3. There's 4 versions, but this was for the one for the collector's edition.
Amazing. Sweet. 80 bucks. Right on. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
And here you can have the cover as well.
Oh, cool. Right on. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay.
Yeah.
See ya.
This is a piece I've been after in my original game room for years, and finding a good price on these is pretty difficult. Now originally this would have all been bundled together in a box with a copy of the game and other goodies included. Unfortunately, my helmet doesn't have anything in it at all, but for $80 Canadian, this was an absolute score. And on a week where I already picked up one badass helmet for the collection, I'm stoked on this one. Let's take a look at where we're leaving things off for episode 4 of Game Room 2. You know, I'm pretty stoked on some awesome display pieces added to the game collection this week, along with a couple extra games. We've got a decent amount of things listed on eBay right now for resale, and not a bad little amount of cash left in the Game Room Fund for episode 5 next week. Thanks so much for sticking around. All the comments, likes, subscribes, all that good stuff goes a long way into helping my channel grow, and I appreciate every single one of them. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. You stuck around this week for more bonus content. Lucky you. Thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. In the original Game Room, I've had a few pretty heavy hitter pickups over the past month, and I haven't really been doing a lot of documenting of things that are going on here back at home, but I'll share a couple of really big ones with you. Some Grail games for the GameCube collection. This one I picked up pretty recently at a local pawn shop for $2.29 Canadian, so I did really well on this one, complete in box. One that I've been looking to add to the GameCube collection for a really long time, and actually just today I did a big trade, lost about 30 games in the GameCube collection, mainly sports titles and stuff that I was probably never going to play, but I picked up an absolute banger, complete in box. The 30 or so games that I traded away probably were valued somewhere around $300, $325, and I traded almost straight up for this, a little bit of cash added in, and I got a pretty good deal on this one, CIB. So absolutely stoked on that. And I'm going to leave you with a few bloopers from Chris and I's little shoot in the basement at Gameroom 2. That Copenhagen video also, I'll link it below. It's a total banger and totally worth going back to watch. That was a fun one to make. So thanks so much. I'll catch you next week. I usually like to have my hat on in this because it casts a huge shadow on my face, but that's okay. Like I'm just making bullshit up so that you can cut me off. I'll be like, all right, it's getting late in the weekend, and then like any time in that, just be like, yo, Scott, and walk over.
Okay. What do I do?
And you can be like, you can either look at the camera and go, you still got that Xbox controller for sale, or you can be like, do whatever you want, just don't look at the floor. Just you still got that Xbox controller? All right, it's getting close to the end of the week, and we.
Hey, Scott.
God damn it, you're too late. Chris?
Do you still have that? What am I buying? Do you still have that Xbox?
No, wait for me to go, Chris? Chris? What are you doing here?